Welcome back. You're still tuned in to Salam Media with myself, Salalo Makwidiri. And if you are a resident of Johannesburg, I'm sure by now you know of the water disruptions that are going to be taking place. And this is going to be in over 20 Joburg areas who are going to be experiencing these water supply disruptions. The Rand water maintenance fleet that they've gone into has more than 20 areas in Johannesburg that will be affected for 37-day infrastructure maintenance, which started on Saturday. And these areas will experience water cuts and disruptions. The water utility company has announced extensive maintenance of its infrastructure, which began on June the 22nd and will continue until July 29th to maintain the quality and integrity of the infrastructure while extending its lifespan. The maintenance is scheduled to begin yesterday on June 24th at Aikenhof, Zwartkopies and Daleside, affecting the water supply to Joburg water systems, the water entity of the city of Johannesburg. And they've also put out a maintenance schedule for Joburg residents to anticipate water disruptions, and they should be preparing. They are themselves by filling up their water tanks and buckets during these infrastructure maintenance periods. And I think if you can go to the Rand Water website, you can see just how your area will be affected. And in a bit, we'll be joined by Councillor Stuart Marais, is a councillor of Ward 54, who's going to be giving us insight on whether or not they have been communicating with Rand Water. Are there going to be provisions of water tankers that are going to be making the rounds in the areas of Robertsham and all of the surrounding areas? We know by now that this is an area that has been affected by water supply issues for the longest of times. We've been in conversation with the councillor. We've also tried to, bring in the mayor of Johannesburg to try and mitigate this issue. And I will be getting in contact with Councillor Stuart Marais in a bit just to get a bit more information on that, and also the plans around, making sure that these disruptive water supply times and dates are managed correctly by Rand Water and also the people of the areas where the Councillor Stuart Marais works and know and understand how they'll be affected, and that they are now mitigating features that Rand Water has put into place. Councillor Stuart Marais is joining us via StreamYard. Councillor, thank you so much for joining us. Always a pleasure chatting to you. Welcome to Salam Media.
Morning and welcome to all your listeners.
First and foremost, the area of Robertsham and the surrounding areas, your Ward 54, is one that has been plagued by water supply issues for a very, very long time. If you can give us insight on where you are right now, is enough water being supplied to people, or is it still a struggle as it has been? I'm sure you know that we've tried to bring in the mayor. Have there been changes ever since that? Communication with the task team that has been formed? Just give us the lay of the land. Where are we right now?
Okay, I just would like to clarify something, and I remember that my ward is split by Xavier Street on the going down Xavier to the highway. I'm on the right hand side. On the left hand side is Councillor Rashida. I know she's just tried to contact me, and I said I haven't heard anything yet, so I've just been speaking to her quickly. But in my ward, certain areas are without water. That's the Evans Park, certain parts of Ridgeway. On the other end, which is the Seder Winchester Hill site. And then just to be telling you that we had extensive meetings with Rand Water, yes, which they've just explained the whole layout, how there were water tankers, JoJo tankers, contingency plans and things, how they're going to move. They gave us a brief update on how the water repairs have been doing, how they seem to be on track and ahead of schedule on 2 occasions where they are busy currently. So that's great. We're impacted from the Aikenhof side. Aikenhof is also under the section that is being repaired and is a little bit ahead of schedule. At one stage, we were pumping at 100%. There, obviously, we have to pick up the slack in the system, which is now created while it was off. That normally if you look at it briefly, it takes a day or two to catch up. I haven't had a chance yet to find what the reservoir looks like this morning. I haven't had a chance to find out if the uh, uh, outlet is opened. I am just seeing the WhatsApp groups are a bit quiet. I've had a request to fill up a private JoJo. At this stage, that we can't do because we have to get our resources around. So this time around, we are more better prepared. We've got 9 or 10 JoJos that are stationed, as they call them, stationary tanks. They are across the whole ward. So we've got that. Then the downside of that is that it takes longer to fill, and it's not like a water tanker that's got like 6 or 7 ports that you can pour water from, and it also comes out faster. So well, we have to see the full impact. It's a small impact at this stage, so it's not of crisis mode yet. Yet I want to say to Rand Water and to Joburg Water, um, you give us the alternative. It's not really a great alternative, but I don't know what else we can do.
Mm,
Um, you know, it is what it is. Um, it's nowhere near efficient. I mean, how do you service? Look, I've got trucks going to old age homes, and then I have to expect elderly or the community to help people to take the water to their houses. But because how do you get an old lady or a gogo to carry a 20-liter bucket of water?
mm,
We have a whole host of boreholes that are available, but that also needs to be carried and taken to someone. So it's their statement is that nothing will replace the normal system, but the one we've got in place is, let's say, it's 5% of what it could be or what it should be. So
mm,
but you know what? If we had a better service, would more tankers help? Would more static tankers help? It's all dependent on people going to the watering hole. So that's the
mm.
problem we have, and yeah,
All right.
yeah.
Yeah. Councillor, I think previously, when there were disruptions in the area, particularly in your ward 54, the main concern was the issue of water tankers. If they are available, is there enough communication on where they'll be and at what time? I want you to answer that about. Just how much communication is there with the community, because some people are saying, when the water tankers do come in, some of us are at work, you have to chase around this thing. It doesn't go to certain streets, so I think there's a lot that still needs to be unpacked regarding that. But before we get to that, we have a caller on the line. Her name is Tanya Basik. And I think she wants to also add her concerns regarding the water provisions issues. Good morning, Tanya. Thank you so much for joining us. Welcome to Salam Media.
Good morning. Thank you for having me.
Tanya, you're a resident of the area. What are your concerns? Water provision, how has it been for you?
Our taps are dry for 24 hours. So at first, when the notice went out, it said we were going to have 50% of water that we will be fed through the pipes. However, since yesterday, taps have been dry. And I have a 6-month-old baby at home, and it's so hard when you don't have water because you can store as much water as you want, but you're still going to run out. We haven't seen any trucks in the area. Yesterday, there was a truck 2 or 3 streets away from us. We are in the Southdale area. We had no water at all, and it can be a problem. We're not sure how long this is going to go on for.
Mm, mm, mm. And which ward are you in?
I'm in Southdale, so it's not under that, under Councillor Marais' ward. It's under Mongameli's ward. But we had no feedback with that as well. We have no tanks. We have nothing. They said yesterday the valves have been closed. The valves have been closed since yesterday for Crown Gardens. Nothing has come through since then. We're not getting any feedback. We're not sure what's happening. Is this going to be for the next month? We always have an issue. I think every month we have no water. There's a lady in another street that had low pressure the whole month so far, and nobody gives any feedback.
Councillor, you get to respond to that. This is under your ward. I assume taken from what the caller Tanya is saying.
Let me just say, she did say it's not in my ward, but I can answer on that. Yeah, any interruption is going to cause a whole slack in the system. And the 50% is what they say, but it never materializes on the ground. We always prepare ourselves for the worst case scenario that we are going to run for a day or two with water. I always say if Aikenhof is down for 4 hours, we can expect to be out of water for 1 day. Yeah, they've also said that the water will be cut off for 50% and will be increased to 86%. All I can say is that I know that the water is pumping now, apparently at 100% to all the downline system. So we'll see when the slack is taken out of the system. I'm got to say that they have also indicated if the water is coming through at 50% or 86%, but the usage is more than we can handle, or it's taking up that, then they're going to close the valves to make sure that the towers and the reservoir doesn't fall under a critical low level, because then we're going to take longer. So they're trying to accommodate the people by opening the valves and letting them use, let's say, for half a day, and then they're going to close again because then, they have to protect the source. For her, I'm not sure why there isn't water tankers in the area. The water tankers, and you did ask the question, you ask or require for them to come out. And I know in the past we all used to say, but people are at work. Can we have a static point? As soon as I get my tankers, and I'll ask for tankers today because I know we'll need them, I will indicate on my ward groups that they are there and they're going to be there. We're going to try and move them around, that there's a night and a day shift, or not a night shift, but let's say an afternoon and a morning shift rather, so that people can go. I'm not too sure in which street. She just makes use of the name Southdale. Southdale's a bit broad. I presume it's on the way
Tanya,
to
which street are you in specifically?
I'm close to the Boys and Boxing Club.
Okay,
I have a question to the councillor, please.
Yes.
Is the valves open right now?
Currently, I'm waiting for that feedback. I haven't had. I've asked if it's open. They haven't replied to me. The water people will all be in a huge meeting giving feedback. So, I tell you what, I'm gonna leave my number or with the gentleman, and then you can just phone him, and I'll give you a ring back. Or I don't want to give my number out on the air, and I don't want you to give yours. So I will give you feedback on that. I'll find out for you now and tell you what's happening, if they are open or what. As soon as I get any feedback, I'll let you know.
Perfect. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Tanya, one of the residents in the Southdale area. They're just giving out her concerns. And Councillor, before I let you go, we just got another statement here from Adila Raid. She's also a resident of Robertsham. Says the ongoing water issue in Robertsham and Crown Gardens area. We always have to bear the brunt of the ongoing water crisis by Johannesburg Water and Robertsham. The supply of water in our area, especially the 14 streets of Lower Robertsham, is unreliable. Water cuts without notice, false information provided, no feedback provided by a councillor in our area. They've also been told that Joburg Water is not responding to the resolution of the water crisis, and there's no update when asked, which leads to the maintenance water cost to last over a month and water supply to resume only in early August. The Robertsham area was not put on the list of areas impacted, but no surprise, we don't have water. The Crown Garden water tower is impacted, and Robertsham is to bear the burden, while surrounding areas who also are fed through the same water tower are receiving normal water flow. I am to be without water from end of May right until the start of August. We've been told that it's maintenance, and we were not given notice. How is one supposed to survive without a basic need? Could Rand Water come up with a better plan, and could we have our councillors respond more efficiently? This is from Adila Raid. She's saying the 14 streets of Lower Robertsham, the water is not reliable in that area. What's your response to that? And also the issue of the Crown Garden water tower. She's saying that some areas do have water that are supplied by the same tower, but when it comes to the 14 streets of Lower Robertsham, it's always unreliable. Your response to that before I let you go?
Okay, no, it's not a problem. I'll answer the question. Once again, it is in Robertsham, that side, but I know of the 14th Street. It's an ongoing problem. It's a reduction of the pipes coming out of the main line, and it always causes. But if the system is not fully charged, they won't be receiving water because it's actually, let's say, it shoots past and it trickles into their pipes because the main pressure goes down further down the line. But I know there is plans to sort that out. I'm not that closely involved with it because it actually falls under Councillor Rashida Landis' ward. But I know that there is plans in action because I sit in all the meetings and I hear what is being said, and we constantly. I'm also asked to help and assist in that area because of the streets that are without water. The Robertsham area and my area are fed by the same tower, so there's towers and there's reservoirs. There's different parts of the system that feeds it. So normally that is fed by the reservoir, and the reservoir only feeds on gravity. It hasn't got a pump booster that pushes it into the system, so it has to flow down. I'm not too sure. As I said this morning, I haven't had any indication when the towers are opened or what the pump flow into the system was last night because they don't answer their phones, but I know that they will be in a meeting this morning. We go into a meeting again this afternoon from 2 o'clock till 3 o'clock with all the stakeholders to see how things are and what can we do to improve and things like that. Yeah, I'm not too sure. Water. Uh, I'd buy water or I'd go and fetch water, make arrangements for that because that is, and they'll be the last to be restored. So it's an ongoing process. Till that is eliminated, it's going to be there, and there's not much we can do. We can't pump the water directly to them. It's not, the system doesn't allow it.
And just lastly, one other thing that's that keeps popping up is the fact that all of these areas that go for months on end without water, when the water bill at the end of the month comes, it comes out really high. Some people are saying it's because of the air that's flowing through the pumps or whatnot. Have you tried fixing this issue? Have you communicated with the relevant authorities about areas going for long periods without water, but when the bill comes, it's inflated?
Sure. I get that also in my ward, and you know what? There's actually no reply, or there's actually when and they've admitted the fact that if the air blows through it, the meter will turn. But nobody comes up and says, okay, let's give them less 10% on the bill. They just say, yeah, it is like that. And how do we get it rectified? I mean, it's something that has to go through council and they have to approve it. And I think we should be making representation around how we're going to get that sorted out. It's just a question that everybody avoids, and it's never answered. And how do you truly determine who's had air in the system and how much air has gone through? So how do you put a monetary value to what has been used or so-called not been used? You know what I'm saying?
Mm. And I think the key issue, Councillor, is the issue of communication. A lot of residents saying there isn't much communication. They try to reach out to yourself and Councillor Rashid Landis, but there isn't enough communication about whether there's going to be water trucks that are going to be coming into the area. What time will they be there? When there are water cuts, what are some of the reasons? When are they expected to have water again? Is there the issue of water has been one that you've been struggling with for the longest of time in the area? Is there a restructuring of your communicating strategies? Is there a more efficient way that you can go about it? Because I think if there's sufficient communication, then the residents would be able to prepare themselves a bit better.
I can't agree with you more, and I got to say to yourself, if we're not giving enough information, we'll have to do better. I'm also working on myself. I've got groups which I will indicate as soon as I get any information today. any information I'm going to be putting on my community group so that they can see. I'm going to be asking for water tankers. Funny enough, yesterday afternoon when we did the layout, there was no water tankers issued to us at all. And I had asked a question, and they'd said to me that in certain areas where the water is recovered, they're moving tankers water tankers to move them to our ward. So that's we got to try and set up this morning and see where, what, and how. That was one of my first questions I wanted to ask Joburg Water this morning. We have no allocation of water tankers, but we've got the static tankers. Firstly, if they're empty, who's filling them? They didn't answer me on that. I'm hoping they've got a plan that the trucks ride through the night because they'll fill up. But we haven't had such a huge outage in my side of the ward. I'm not sure on the other side, which let's just call it the feeder side. But the old age homes, I've got 3. They have to be filled. I have to check with them this morning. So I'll be jumping in my car and I'd be running around trying to ascertain which tankers are also empty. So that I have to do this morning. I've also, not to blame you, but I also had to wait for you. But,
Right.
all right. So
All right,
that's
Councillor,
we'll
let's
communicate better. We will.
yeah, definitely. Let's not keep you any longer. Thank you so much for giving us your time, and I'm sure if there are any developments, you'll sure to communicate with the people. This is a platform. We are here also in the area, and you can definitely use us, to speak to the residents. But we're going to leave it here for now. Thank you so much for giving us your time.
Could I just have my last bite there? I'll try and drop off a list at the office so that you can also communicate it to the people.
Will do so. Thank you. That will be really, really appreciated. That was Councillor Stuart Marais of Ward 54. If you're in Robertsham and the surrounding areas, I think give us a shout. Our numbers will be announced in a bit, and we can get you in contact with Councillor Stuart Marais if you are also struggling with water in your area and you don't have an explanation. He'll definitely try and help you. If not, give you an explanation and an avenue to try and assist you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll be sharing our focus to India, but that's after this.